Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, well, we're not going to be looking at this. This is some bits for an up-and-coming project. A viewer of mine posted on one of my videos a comment about, this is a video going back to 2015, where I showed an explanation how a series lamp limiter, I think in the US you know it as a dim bulb device, works, and he was asking me whether I'd actually show how you put one together. So I'm going to be doing that in a video shortly. Basically, it's a device we use when we're working on old like valve equipment, early old transistor equipment, and stuff like that. It's just a little like a safety device. It helps you power up equipment that hasn't been used for a very long time. Like I said, I'm coming up with that video. I am just missing a few bits I need. I've got most of the bits we need for it here. I just need a socket and another back box and a lamp holder. So bear with me on that project. It will be I will be making a video in the next few days. But what today's video is on, and I have shown this again in a previous video, is this thing. No, I know at least one person that's been asking me to do a video on this, so I thought I'd crack on with it. It's probably going to be part one of a two-parter this. I thought what we'd do in this video is just have a quick look at this thing and crack it apart, have a look inside it, and then in the second video I think we might actually see whether we can possibly get this thing to work to some extent anyway. What we've got here is basically a little homebrew amplifier. This is something that was probably knocked up possibly late 1960s, early 1970s. Obviously very homemade construction. But the interesting thing about it is it doesn't just use a basic transistor circuit like you'd find published in like Practical Wireless or something like that. What this uses, like I say, you will know if you've seen some of my older videos. We'll look in there, is we have a Sinclair, as in Sinclair, Circle Live Sinclair, amplifier module. So this is basically got this has been made using quite an early Sinclair product inside it. Now this was, like I said, long before the idea of Circle Live making computers ever came out. This was much earlier than that. So I think they started making these modules in the 60s up and carried on making them into the 70s. And basically what someone's done is they've bought one of them modules and then built it into an amplifier for their own use. And I was probably guessing this may have been used for something like amateur radio or something like that. Now it is missing a terminal there, and if you watch my previous video you'll know why that's missing, because I had a rather nice little variable high tension power supply to repair, and I needed exactly one of them type of binding posts for it, so this did sacrifice one of its binding posts, but it went to a good cause because it got a very nice piece of ex-military variable high tension power supply up and into working order. And we can stick anything on there. I'm not really worried about this unit. I'm quite interested to see how that module inside it works though. So if we do decide to perhaps get this unit working and actually keep it as this unit, I'll just put some more modern generic binding posts on there, so we don't need to worry about that. It is obviously quite well made, and it's not just the module. I mean, the guy who ever built this in the past, I'm sure he's probably no longer with us. I mean, this was built a very long time ago, but he has put some thought into it. You know, it's got separate, you've got your volume, your bass and your treble controls. It appears to have two inputs, and then obviously your binding post for your speaker outputs. So I'm wondering whether this was possibly used with like some amateur radio gear or something like that didn't have its own internal amplifier. Other nice thing is how this has been designed. Obviously from the back it looks quite packed in there, and you're trying to think how the hell am I going to get in there to even do anything with it. And what I've discovered is it's actually been quite well designed, this case. As in we've got a few screws up here, and then we've got some screws underneath there and there, and I think if I undo them We've got bits dropping out as well, never mind. I think if I undo them, this entire back part of the case here should lift off and basically just leave a baseboard in the front panel. So I think that's what we're going to do first. We'll see if we can decase this thing and we can have a proper good look inside it. The only problem is these are very, very tiny little wood screws that they've used. And I don't know... is that undoing it? I don't want to scratch it up too much. I think not at least yet. Let me see if we've got a much smaller screwdriver. That's coming out. So tiny, tiny little screws he's used. The rest of the cabinet, I think it's nailed together, the top and the sides. But I said this is the bottom and the front seem to be screwed on. That's that one out. That one out. Right, there we go. I think that should be all the screws out. Yeah, it seems to be coming apart quite nicely, that now. So hopefully we can lift, we can lift that part of the case off and put that out of harm's way. And let's see what we can see. And we certainly can get a better look inside it. So what have we got? Well, as you can see the construction, we've basically got a piece of sheet steel which has been bent into an L shape. And everything else seems to be pretty much grafted onto there. It's a bit of a mess, to be fair. We've got detached wires everywhere. I don't know if you can see. I mean, there will be at least one detached wire from where I disconnected that terminal down there, but that's all I did was just snip the wire and take that terminal out. I haven't been in here before, but we've got one wire there that doesn't go to anything. We've got another wire there that doesn't go to anything. It's very strange construction. It's kind of like the guy obviously was a much older engineer when he probably built this, and he was probably used to working with valves and point-to-point wiring, because it seems to be like most of our tone control around here is all wired point-to-point. But then we've got what I'm guessing is a little preamp PCB down here, which is done on a little bit of it's done on strip board, very, very, very old imperial measurement strip board there. Then we've got the Sinclair module in the middle there. Again, that's got things hanging off it in a point-to-point fashion. Some of this is very I'll call it amateurish, because I'm sure like this was an enthusiast or an amateur that built this thing. But yeah, we've obviously got, I don't know, something that's been added on the top here. Then we've got a power supply section. So we've got this is the mains cable, obviously not exactly up to code. It's like the old 1960s lighting flex. So that we'll have to do something about that. He has actually made some strain. I'll just zoom you down to here. It's actually got some strain relief that the guys. Maybe you can spot this here. What he's done is he's took some copper wire, he's wrapped it around the cable really tight there, and then round the top of that transformer there, and it is actually quite a good strain relief. It stops the cable being pulled. Anyway, let's I'll zoom you back out a little bit. Let's see if I can zoom into actually. It's rather difficult to show you the module at this point. I don't know if you can actually. I'll show you the back of the module. Oops, there we go. In you go. So that's the module there that it's all built around. You can see it would be designed to go into a card edge on the top there, and he's just basically soldered. It does have holes for soldering to, but it would either go into a card edge or you just solder your wires straight on, which is obviously what this guy's done. It's a I presume this is oh, it says Z50, do not exceed 50 volts, so I presume that's your input voltage for it. So I wonder if it's a single rail input voltage. It doesn't need like a 15-0-15 like a lot of amplifiers do. It's quite interesting. What I will do is, before I do the next video on this, I will dig some data up on that exact module and we'll find a bit more out about it. I don't think there's any way we can really power this up literally as is. I don't think it's going to be in a safe condition to do it. So I think we may have to do a little bit more disassembly and perhaps just try getting some pinouts for that module and getting it to power up. I mean, what it was back when this were made, what people considered safe and what we consider, even a mad idiot like me considers safe, are two entirely different things. It's like, so you've no earth on this thing, everything's point to point. I don't know where there's going to be some, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see down here. I mean, we've got the main switch here. Can we see this? Let me see if I can get you down a bit. We've got the main switch there. There's like a few mil gap between the main switch and this chassis. All this is connected to the front panel, so all it takes is a little bit of play there for that to short against the mains input there. It's yeah. Same with that neon that's on the front there. I mean, there's so little gap really between them that I'm not going to be powering this thing up as is. I am going to probably be pulling this apart, and we'll try and get that module out, and we'll try and get that module working. I do really like the case though. I think if we can make it safer, it may all go back in this case. I mean, it was someone's. Something that someone's made. I do like that about it. Let me zoom you back out a little bit. I don't know what's going on here. We've got a main switch on the front, and that's definitely the on-off switch, and neon to show it's on. Then we have this here, and that's going to the transformer. I mean, we want that unit out as well. That looks rather interesting. It's obviously got the rectification built into the little transformer module there. I wonder if that's a Sinclair product. It certainly looks. It's either a Sinclair product or it's been harvested out of something else and reused in this project. So we've got that switch there with a wire just dangling in the middle of nowhere. Let me try and get this capacitor out there and let's see if we can have a little look at this board here. There'll be a nut on the bolt on the back of that, but we can hopefully, yeah, there we go, we've got that out. Is that the ground side? Yeah, that's the ground. That was the ground for the that capacitor. We can see this now. So that I presume this is the preamp. It's again, we've got what, little 2 transistor preamplifier. I'm guessing that that's the input up here to the amplifier module. I don't know if you can see, but there's, yeah. I'm basically just doing a bit of tracing here, see if I can figure out how this thing is actually wired up. But it looks like we've got from the input, which is that jack on the front, or at least the 2 jacks on the front. In fact, that's a bit weird. They're wired differently. That little 3.5 jack seems to be wired through the bass and treble controls at the top here. And the 1/4 inch jack doesn't. That seems to go straight to this little preamplifier. I wonder if this was possibly, I don't know, guitar, multiple use. It was just a test amplifier. I don't know. But the 1/4 inch jack goes straight to this preamplifier board here. As where the 3.5 inch jack seems to go through this. It'll be a very basic capacitor based resistance capacitance tone control. then and then out of there into the preamplifier. So that's what this wire here, that's the output from that. So it goes through the tone control first, then through this preamp, and then into that Sinclair module, as where the 1/4 inch jack just goes straight into the preamp and out to the Sinclair module. I'm guessing that's probably ground at the top there. I wonder what we should try and remove first. Can't see any writing or anything on that power supply, so I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's someone else's doing. It's certainly not just a homebrew thing. That is it's either been salvaged out of something else, or it's like sold by like Sinclair as part of the kits, which possibly actually, with it being black and quite nicely made. Oh, excuse me. Although it doesn't seem to have any Sinclair branding on it as far as I can see. We've got two 1000 UF smoothing caps. That one's not connected, and that one, what's it? Right, I think they both go to the same place, so they're probably both in would they be in series or in parallel to double the UF? I can't remember. You put them in parallel to double them, so I think, yeah, they're both wired in parallel, so we've got 2000 UF of smoothing. It's an interesting little unit. It's gonna actually. I was hoping I could just do a couple of solder a couple of wires back and be able to give this thing some power, but it's not in that kind of state. It really isn't. It'd be really daft just to try and power this thing up. It'd be a shock hazard, and it could have also obviously let out the magic smoke. I think, like I said, I think what we'll do is we're going to extract that. We'll extract that Sinclair module. In fact, we'll do that now. Sod it. Yeah, we're going to do that now. I'm going to take that Sinclair module out of here, and we can get it on the bench, and we'll just have a quick look at it. And then in the next video I'm going to do on this, I think we might actually possibly have a go at trying to power that module up. I mean, I can certainly power it up through using my bench supply. That shouldn't be an issue. And we can see if it does anything, and then we can perhaps have a look at redesigning this thing a bit safer and actually making something useful out of it. I don't know what yet, but I like Sinclair stuff. I know Andy's going to rip me for that, but I do quite like Sinclair stuff. It's cheap crap, but there's something quintessentially British about it. Even like I said, Sinclair was quite a large company, but it still had that, bloke in his garden shed kind of ethos about it. I mean, obviously, when Sinclair computing got big, it was a lot different than that. But this is far, far, before then. This is the dawns of Sinclair. It really is. I'll try and get this this module out and see what state it's in. Dear me, that yeah, that just literally just snapped off as I touched it. Then that's not good. I think I'll cut them and then I'll take them out. Getting there. It seems that the chap that built this did a lot of riveting, because a lot of parts seem to be riveted down to this baseboard. And he's also used, that's aluminium, so he's obviously like extended the heat sink there as well. Let's see if we can get it out without disturbing too much of the rest of the unit. Like I said, it is all going to have to come apart, but at least for now I'd like to keep it as reasonably intact as I can. We can get this module out and we can have a quick look at it. So at least I'm hoping I can perhaps get some data sheets on it, and then at least we know what the pinout is, and we can wire it up on the bench. put a signal source into it and a speaker on it and see what it sounds like. Now this is what's known as Sod's Law. The screw that was easy to access came out no problem, nice and easy. The screw which is a swine to access is bloody tight. It is just going though. Always the way that. I think we're nearly out. There we go. I'll just set that back to one side. Let's get this this capacitor off it. So let's get these last bits of wire off. Oops, wrong solder down. We're using the big one today. There we go. We'll test these as well, because if they work all right, I might use them. I might use them again in this. Like I said, it's not anything I'm selling, or it's just going to be something for a bit of fun. So if they test okay, I will reuse them. See if we can get these bits of wire out. Obviously, I will tidy this all up properly as well. So we can get these rest of these out. I might have to cut them off and. To be very, very careful with boards like this, because I will say that they lift the tracers for fun. If you think modern, well, like 80s computer PCBs and 90s consoles are bad for lifting tracks, you've never worked on a 70s TV set, and these are basically the same type of soldering, same type of PCBs you find on like 70s television sets. Because where as soon as they see the soldering iron, they scream and lift the tracks off the board. But there we go, that's a bit tidier. I'll probably go through and clean the holes up off that after, but that's a bit tidier for now. I think we can just, yeah, there. They're free now. And there we go. I'll just get that down on the bench and you can have a look at it. It's fairly simple. Let's get you down there. There we go. Oops, let's zoom you in. So I don't know if you can see that there. Let me just zoom you out a little bit. Oops. And that's it. That's the Sinclair module there. So I mean, it is very, very simple. We've got what? We've got two power transistors. So we've got a push-pull output stage there, and then basically a preamplifier stage, some resistors, two electrolytic capacitors, and that's it. I don't expect this thing to be particularly powerful. It's probably what, probably around the watt or so. It's not going to be like ear shattering or anything, but yeah, I'm going. Like I said, I'm going to do some research on this thing, see if I can find out what the actual pinouts are. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. We can figure it out. But it'd be nice, like I say, if there's some data on this that I can find, then we can actually get the proper pinouts for it, and yeah, we can have a go at powering this up on the bench. Like I said, we'll connect the sound source to it, we'll connect a speaker to it, and we'll connect it up to the bench supply. See if it does anything. If it doesn't, even better, we can have a go at fixing it and get this working. And once we've got that up and working, we may see if we can perhaps do something with the rest of it. Like I said, it was someone made this. Someone put a lot of effort into this, sometime, long time in the past. So, if I can make something that I can use in the workshop out of it, I was thinking it would possibly make a nice little signal tracer. So, if I can, like I said, if I can get the module going and we can use the most of this, I might think about just making it into a little general purpose amplifier and signal tracer for use in the workshop. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, this is just going to be a part 1. In the part 2, we'll probably have a go at see if we can get that to do anything. There may even be a part 3 on this, and we, like I say, I'll do some work on the rest of it and see what we can actually do with this part of it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now, because I only planning on doing a little quick 10-minute video, and it's already 25 minutes long. So I'll leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.